What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with Gab and Maui. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Change of pace naman. Back to Gilas. Let's go!
Gilas tayo. Oo. Kasi alam niyo naman, guys, medyo mabagal ang balita sa UAAP ngayon. Although si Jonel Policarpio, we talked about him, we posted about him. But we will not be talking about the UAAP today. We will be talking about the Nulok Gilas team. So pag-usapan natin, we haven't really talked about this.
Nulok.
Okay. Quote unquote. Tama ka dyan, Gab. So I haven't really reacted or talked about this, but long-time listeners know that we do once in a while Gilas episodes. So today we're going to talk about the new coach, Coach Tim Cone. He was announced a few weeks ago. The 12-man lineup, and let's talk about the 4-year program. So puro Gilas tayo today. And meron naman tayong onting UAAP because I know there are UAAP players in Gilas, former and current UAAP player. So may UAAP pa rin. So let's get started. So let's start with the new coach. So ito yung inaabangan ng lahat. There was some hype around it. Supposedly, like, people had like a short list or whatever. We find out na it's Coach Tim Cone who will be leading the Nulok Gilas team. I just want to hear ano yung thoughts nyo, quick reactions, and then let's talk about what's good about it, what's bad about it. Let's get started with Maui.
Yeah. I think I'm happy naman that Gilas has decided to name Coach Tim Cone as the coach. I think we need to move into another direction. I think yun yung team talaga from the last World Cup. They had Coach Shot again coach the team after a myriad of coaches during the previous windows. I think Gilas naming Coach Tim as the coach is very well respected by all Filipinos. That's one thing that's important, I think, at the moment. It's not like si Chot Reyes where he has unfortunately gotten at the wrong side of most of the Filipinos the past 2 years. So we have a new coach, we have a new era. Hopefully, Coach Tim will be able to instill yung winning culture that he has instilled sa Barangay Ginebra in the PBA. I think generally this should be positive with regards to Gilas. I don't know if he's the right guy to lead us to the Olympics, but at least we're trying out another direction. Yun yung main reaction ko to this news. I think that the most important thing right now is getting a coach that has a lot of respect sa players and getting that new era. We have to move past yung old Gilas. That was just a decade ago probably, but we have to move into a different direction. And I think naming a new coach, Coach Tim, somebody who's very well decorated in the PBA and somebody who has a lot of respect from most of the pro players. I think even yung young players who grew up as fans of Barangay Ginebra are very ecstatic. You see players like Kiambao and probably sila Carl Tamayo. They probably have admiration also to Coach Tim. So this is generally positive news for me, I think. Gab, what are your thoughts?
I mostly agree with you, Maui. I think you hit the nail on the head. This is all about image. So that word is key for me, image. Hiring Tim Cone repairs the image of the Gilas program.
Wow, good point.
Coach Chot overstayed his welcome in the Gilas program in the top tier men's basketball. I mean, he was involved in the Australian brawl with the brawl with Australia. He took over from Tab Baldwin, and essentially he did not perform well in the past World Cup and the past couple of windows. A lot of criticisms. Fans started to turn on the Gilas team, and I think hiring a coach such as Tim Cone, who's the man leading the most beloved team in Philippine history in Barangay Ginebra, I think that's as much as the SBP could do to start to repair its image, is to hire Tim Cone. I mean, Maui said it all. He's a multi-titled coach. I think he's the winningest coach in PBA history. Or was it maybe the Lupan? I think he is na.
Winningest na siya, si Coach Tim.
Yeah. Most titles in the PBA, well respected by everyone across the Philippine basketball landscape. And so that's the first thing. It's image. It repairs the image sort of for the Gilas program. Second, I do hope that he installs a system more capable of sharing the ball and ball movement. I mean, he's a student of the triangle. Diba? Tim Cone has always uh, formed his system and his offense around the triangle offense, which involves a lot of cutting, a
A
lot of
lot of ball
screening,
movement.
a lot of ball movement, and even off ball movement. That's a triangle. You can watch the old Lakers and how Phil Jackson coached that team. You can watch Barangay Ginebra. They move the ball. So hopefully there's a lot more ball movement than what happened in the previous iterations of Gilas. You under Chot Reyes, a lot of one-on-one, a lot of isolation basketball, which is honestly is just so painful to watch. Was painful to watch, despite having NBA caliber talent in Jordan Clarkson. It was getting old, and it was getting us nowhere. So tama si Maui. The image is being repaired. I hope that the style of play is gonna get repaired as well with Coach Tim. That's it, Sammy.
Okay, so I think you guys used the word well-respected. Really good way to describe Coach Tim Cone. Sa akin, ang naisip ko was well-loved. So, well-loved by the fans. Sabi nyo nga, across all, diba? The basketball kingdom of the Philippines, fandom of the Philippines. So, well-loved by the fans, loved by the players. So, as you mentioned, even the young ones are big fans of him because they grew up watching Coach Tim Cone, has been part of the PBA for the longest time. And I think yung okay then is his because he's well respected and well loved, his connection with the different what do you call this, stakeholders of the PBA, specifically obviously he's very close to the SMC group, kanla Al Francis Chua, kanla RSA, and I think even the MVP group and the other teams that are managing other groups that are managing teams in the PBA respect Coach Tim Cone enough to sort of like maybe lend their players or get on board his program, which we will talk more about later kasi we'll talk more about the 4-year program that Coach Tim Cone presented, and it seems like from everything that we've been reading or hearing so far, everyone is aligned with him and everyone is on board. From the players to the management, to the SBP. So yun yung kagandahan nun. And I think maganda yung point mo, Gab, on the image. And I think it's perfect timing to sort of pick Coach Tim Cone kasi kakapanalo lang niya nung Asian Games, diba? So, good timing or transition to sort of like announce, hey, eto na magiging coach natin. Because he sort of just, it's not the best, it's not as competitive as let's say yung recent FIBA competition, diba? But still, it's still redeeming the Philippines in the Asian Games and winning gold when it did not start so well.
Despite all the challenges, diba?
Kinabahan tayo doon. So, I think I think that's a good thing. So I agree. My question to the both of you, and any of you can answer this, is meron ba kayong mga cons naman na nakikita with like Coach Tim Cone coming in as the coach of Gilas, and we're talking about like 4 years. He's going to be the coach of Gilas for the next 4 years. Meron kayong cons or issues na nakikita?
Well, ako ang first con that I see is that we're hiring from the inside. I really think that much like yung other nations, even nations like China, who are very strict with regards to hiring yung coaches nila during previous iterations, I think we should look outside also. It's the main reason why we got Tab Baldwin. It's the main reason why we get Coach Raiko. I think it's not because the coaches here are not good. It's because the coaches abroad also have other ideas that can broaden yung horizon ng players, broaden yung plays, broaden yung trainings. I think that's the main reason why UAAP teams have decided to train abroad also. Because they get a different picture, they get a different resume. they get a different side of basketball. The problem with hiring Coach Tim is we're hiring from the inside. So what I don't know if how yung profile ng assistant coaches niya, but I'm expecting it to be mostly Filipinos also. But I guess the silver lining to all that is Coach Tim was also as an assistant coach, I think, nung 2022 sa Miami. So at least he's been working on getting more experience abroad. And si Coach Tim has employed a system that's not basic, that's not common here in the Philippines, as Gab mentioned, in triangle offense. So he's a student of the game. I think that's very important. If we are going to have a 4-year program with the same coach, then we have to have a coach that's willing to experiment, willing to take risks, willing to change your system. I think that's one of the main disadvantages that we got when we kept on going back to Coach Chot. We kept on going back to his old system. It used to work. It got us to the World Cup for the first time in, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I think 3 decades. But unfortunately, despite yung increase in talent ng players natin, some of our players are even playing abroad, and we have now an NBA caliber talent. We weren't able to bank on that. I think that's because we have an outdated system. That's because we don't have a consistent training pool, which is something that I think si Coach Tim is very wants to really prioritize. I think Coach Tim naming this program for the next 4 years is very important. But I'll get into later when we talk about the pool. More of my comments. Gab.
Same as Maui. I think my comments will be better reserved for when we talk about the roster. But my only concern with Coach Tim, I'm not sure he's a good player development coach. When he's in the PBA, he gets proven players. He coaches players, stars, proven players. Barangay Nebra is the clearest and most recent example. He gets players that are already stars, from Stanley Pringle, Christian Stan Hardinger, Japet Aguilar, L.A. Tenorio. These are players who have established themselves in previous teams, farm teams, and go to Barangay Nebra, that they're already proven. And I don't know if that's the type of coach you want. I think that will be better reserved for later. But I'm not sure if he'll opt to play the young guys. That was one of my criticisms for Coach Chot. He barely played young players, diba? Anytime, except for maybe si Mike Phillips for a while in the SEA Games, but he rarely played the young guys. He rarely gave them enough reps or any meaningful minutes to experience what it was like to play internationally in the seniors division. Coach Chot, you mostly stuck with the old dudes. I'm worried that Coach Tim might do the same. No, stick with the old dudes, stick with the proven players from the pros. But if there's a 4-year program, you have to look to the younger generation. You have to look at the early 20s of Philippine basketball, to the KQs, to the Carl Tamayos. Will they get in enough minutes? Hopefully they do. But I don't know with Coach Tim yet. So I want to see that. I hope he plays them. That's my only worry about Coach Tim.
To be fair, Gab, si Coach Tim ko naman yung nag-draft kay Scottie Thompson. So, ever since yung rookie pa lang siya, hinebra na siya, diba? So, may bata naman siyang isa.
May bata siyang isa.
Tsaka during his stint in Alaska, most of those players naman came from the draft, diba? It wasn't like true. Coach Tim was... Okay. The only time Coach Tim got all those talent is when he moved to the San Miguel group, siguro ng Magnolia, and then eventually Ginebra. More so Ginebra, because we all know what happens in the PBA.
Ibang kwento na yan, Maui. But yeah, so I just wanted to go back to Maui's point. I guess yung familiarity can be a pro and a con, diba? I think that's what Maui is also trying to say. Like, it's great na Tim Cone is someone who's familiar to everyone in the basketball industry, but at the same time, parang yun na ba yun? Like, if yung perspective lang of like hiring someone from the outside is they bring a different edge, a different perspective, diba? But as Maui mentioned, I also wanted to point that out. To be fair kay Coach Tim Cone, he is the winningest coach. He's an established veteran coach, but he is not afraid to learn. Kasi naalala ko din yon when he went abroad that was during a PBA season pa. So at that time, parang yung assistant coach niya yung nagko-coach sa Ginebra because he really needed to train with Miami. So I think he's open to like learning and employing new things, which is really what we're asking for, diba? Don't just get stuck on like one system. Siguro sa akin lang is, and this is something that we see in a lot of the coaches that coach the Gilas team, is syempre they have a tendency to favor their own players. Probably because they are more familiar with their system. So obviously when Coach Chot Reyes was coaching, he would get a lot of like the TNT guys. Ngayon si Coach Tim Cone, he would get a lot of like the Ginebra guys. Nung time ni Coach Tab, he would get a lot of the Ateneo guys. So, it's kapag it's someone within, to Maui's point, they get familiar players then. Okay, seems like in agreement naman tayo with Coach Tim. One last question, you can just quickly answer this. Kung hindi si Coach Tim, were you expecting someone else or were you hoping for someone else? So we all agree, to be clear sa mga listeners natin happy kami kay Coach Tim bago ay mag-react. Pero sino yung mga naisip nyo nung hindi pa ina-announce na si Coach Tim? Sino yung mga, who were you hoping for? Eric Spoelstra ba? Joke lang.
Grabe.
Dream pick tawag dyan sa
init na lang yan. Wow.
Dream pick.
Dream pick tawag dyan. Yeah.
Sige, go.
Gab, I think you know what I'm going to say, my boys. I was hoping for Coach Tab, honestly. Come on. Oh, this guy has proven that he can run a system and he can develop young players. I love what Coach Tab did talaga when was it? Was it 2020, 2021? Just a team full of young up-and-coming players playing a system.
2020 yun, Gab.
Yung
Olympic qualifiers.
Olympic qualifiers took Serbia down to the wire and just it was fun to watch, just a team of young guys taking it to this veteran Serbian team and playing a system, just hustling. I would have thought na somehow Coach Tab would be in the running for the job. I think he has proven himself in the UAAP and previously on other Gilas teams na kayang-kaya niya in the international stage. That the European style works in the international stage. That was just me dreaming. Of course, I'm gonna say Coach Tab yung atenista ako, but I really thought I was hoping for him. Maui, we're hoping for someone else. Or if it wasn't him, so sorry, Maui. If it wasn't him, I would have wanted a younger coach. Someone, I mentioned him before. Someone like Alden Ayo, he's in the PBA already.
Masama optics.
Masama optics, but masama ang optics ni Alden Ayo, but he's proven to be a coach who's willing to employ a system to fit his players, employ a very modern system. And from UP, Coach Gold, he served in Gilas before. I thought maybe he could take over this Gilas Pilipinas team. Diba? He's good at recruiting and developing young players. He's employed a system in UP that involves around sharing the basketball. So I really thought now one of those young guys or Coach Tab would be a perfect fit for Gilas. Maui.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Gab. Three names coming to mind when you talk about yung Gilas. One of them is actually, first I'll mention si Coach Tab and si Coach Goldwyn. Coach Tab, because we all know how he handled the young team, how he developed that young team, and how they went toe-to-toe against Serbia. I think yung track record ni Coach Tab speaks for them all. The UAAP is the Premier League in the Philippines, not the PBA, in my opinion. And Coach Tab has been the best coach probably for the past decade. And then si Coach Goldwyn. I think Coach Goldwyn deserves credit for leading UP to 4 finals in 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I think one of the main things, three. One of the main things that people fail to notice, fail to give credit with Coach Gold is how he's able to make a team stacked with blue chip recruits work. I think that's always been our concern, di ba? When they have a lot of recruits, when they have a lot of marquee players, will their egos clash? But it seems it's never happened with Coach Gold. Some of the players are unhappy, but it doesn't go out nung season. They just move on to other teams, and even when they move out, they still thank the UP community and Coach Gold for their development. So yeah, I think Coach Gold is also a good person to consider potentially in the future. I would put him probably in one of the assistant coaches of Gilas, or consider him as part of the coaching staff. Just because UP also gets a ton of recruits who are potentially part of the future of Gilas, di ba? I think yung...
Isa lang i-add ko dyan, Maui. Kung isama si Coach Gold sa staff, dapat si Tom Chua rin isama. Get that defense into Gilas, man.
Yeah, I think si Tom Chua also deserves credit. But also yung vast network ni Coach Goldwyn is something that's key to UP also securing yung recruits. Even far stretching to Andy Himajo, di ba? Potentially a future Gilas point guard. So definitely si Coach Gold should also deserve credit. I won't talk about Coach Tab that much because he's proven, di ba? He has a track record already, and if we don't get Eric Spoelstra, probably si Coach Tab yung second pick ko. But another name that I think should be part of the coaching staff, or even should have been considered, is Charles Chu. He was part of the original Gilas program, so he's been part of the basketball scene for close to 2 decades na, kasi during time pa nila Chris Chu yan. And he's also proven in the NCAA how he can develop players who UAP teams were not able to develop and utilize. There was si Migs Oxon, is now thriving in Korea. Si Will Gozum went from a bench warmer in UP to an MVP. So I think that's very important, player development. When you're talking about the national team, it's not supposed to be just a 4-year program. It has to be Japan has a 100-year plan for its football team, di ba? Imagine. So it has to be something that's sustainable within the next few decades. It shouldn't be short term. It should always be forward looking, long term. And hiring a young coach like some of these, like probably Charles Chu, makes sense to me. So those are just some of the names. Maybe our subscribers can also give us some suggestions on who they think could be potentially.
I won't be surprised if Coach Topex would be in the comments.
Coach Topex, yes. Coach Topex.
I was gonna say Coach Topex. Actually, nakalimutan niyo. But good picks dun sa mga younger coaches. Again, we like Coach Tim Cone, but we're just picking other coaches that we expected to be considered. And yung okay din dun is like, for example, si Coach Cole, diba? The familiarity with KQ, with Carl Tamayo, who are part of the team, okay din yun diba? Sige, let's move on. Speaking of KQ, Carl Tamayo, let's talk about the 12-man lineup. So, eto, feel ko mas may mga reactions kayo dito. Pero, may mga negative reactions kayo dito. But let's talk about it. So, 12-man lineup, just to recap for those na hindi alam, guys that were picked: Kai Soto, Carl Tamayo, Kevin Kiambao, AJ Edu, Dwight Ramos, Calvin Oftana, Jamie Malonzo, Scotty Thompson, CJ Perez, Chris Newsome, Junmar Fajardo, and our import will be Justin Brownlee from Ginebra. So, dun sa 12-man lineup na yon, any surprise picks for you?
Gab, you go first.
I was very surprised.
Nagulat ka lang that they made it, but hindi naman natin sinasabing hindi sila magaling, di ba? Like,
all of these are star players naman di ba?
Yeah, they're all star players. So
all of these are star players. wala naman na nakita ko na surprised that they're there. More of I'm surprised that who's not there.
Oh, sige. Sino snubs? Pwede. Surprise snubs.
Okay, so I said this in previous Gilas episodes that we've had. And when I looked at this roster, 3 things popped out to me that are very, apparent with this lineup. One, where's the point guard, man? Scotty, all of the guards they got are not point guards. Scotty Thompson maybe can play that point guard role, but he's not a point guard. CJ
He's
Perez,
a natural point guard.
Yeah.
To be clear.
He's not a point guard. He's a scorer. He's a shooting guard. Chris Newsom is not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. So lack of point guard in this 12. That was another shocking thing. Why is it only 12? So that was the first thing. There are so many talented point guards in Philippine basketball. There are so many. Matt Nieto, SJ Belengel, RJ Abarientos, 1GDL,
Migs Oxon. Kahit si Migs Oxon,
JD Kagulangan, Jerome Lastimoy, he's injured right now, but
kahit si Clay Chamis, pwede mo na rin i-consider and si Jacob Cortez.
Chamis, Evan Nele, Ray Suerte. Oh my God, there's so many point guards.
Wami Chongson,
who? And that's the other thing for me that's lacking on this team. Shooting. Who can shoot? Where are the shooters? Well, if you're gonna stretch the floor, I think that's one positive thing for this is KQ now has to play the wing because he's a guy who can shoot. So, but he shoots 25% from the 3-point area in the UAAP.
Oh, so, hindi si KQ mataas. Mataas si KQ, nasa mid-30s.
Maui, he was like, when season ended, he was like 229 or something. I think. I think yung 29. So it wasn't, a mga high 30s or mid 30s shooter. And other shooters, Jordan Heading, where's Matthew Wright? Where are our shooters? While our wings are tall, I agree. I just think that if you're gonna compete internationally, you need shooting. I think that the Asian Games proved that you need shooting. Justin Brownlee just shot us to the championship because he was the only guy who can shoot and score. So that's the thing. And my third observation from this pool is, my God, it's old. Why is Junmar and Japet still there? They're great players. They're stars.
Wait, to be clear, wala si Japet. Wala si Japet. Sub lang si Japet. So, let's not count him in.
Okay, fine. Justin Brownlee is old. Chris Newsom is old. This is a 4-year plan. So, after 4 years, you're still gonna play Junmar Fajardo when he's what? Ano ba siya ba? After 4 years, 39?
39. He would be 39.
Oh,
yeah.
Is this gonna be another Asi Taulava thing where when he's 40 plus, we're still playing Junmar Fajardo? I mean, come on, bro. If this is a 4-year plan, I want to see more youth on this team. I want to see a little bit of veterans here and there, but a lot of youth coming out. But this team is just old. So those are my 3 observations. Lack of a point guard, lack of shooting, and they're just freaking old. Maui.
Yeah, I think si Gab pretty much covered most of it. Those were my comments then sa group namin, sa private group namin tatlo. I think it's crazy that we have a 12-man pool. Now we have an injury, 2 injuries to AJ Edu and Junmar Fajardo. Now we have to compete with 11 players during this next window, and we have a ton of players available. The PBA season is just ended. I think yung B-League, I'm not sure, but sila Kai Soto is playing. So maybe yung B-League nakapos. If I'm not mistaken, anytime there's a FIBA window, the B-League has a break. So we have a ton of players potentially available. Maybe this is actually the time na pinakamaraming players available ever sa Gilas. But we're playing undermanned at 11 players because we own. I think that's one of my main concerns. The SBP deciding to name only 12 players. If we are talking about a long-term program, a 4-year program, then we have to have a pool. We don't know. I mean, knock on wood, any of these players get injured or get sick. Diba even si Pogoy had a heart condition pala after the World Cup. So we don't know what will happen to any of these 12 players. Now, if we only have a 12-man pool, then chances are what's going to happen during the next window where we're undermanned with only 11 players. Thank you to Japet, by the way, for still playing despite already at age 37. But it's going to be crazy. I think that they have to have a bigger pool. Probably 20 to 25 names would be enough. I think that we have to have a cadet program. We cannot have the same lineup for every. That's very optimistic. We cannot have the same lineup for every tournament. It's impossible because players get injured, players get sick, and players have commitments. There will be times that we have tournaments, probably that players such as Carl Tamayo or Kai Soto, AJ Edu, the other guys, Dwight Ramos, the ones playing abroad are not available. Then what will happen during those tournaments? I think that's the first thing that we can improve on. Maybe the short time to name a coach, and then the window coming is Coach Tim's decision to only name 12 players as of right now. I'm hopeful it's like that. Because we cannot live with a 12-man pool for all tournaments. I think we should resort to 20 to 25 names with a mix of veterans, potentially from the PBA, and a mix of young guns, some of them playing abroad, some of them also from the collegiate ranks. I think that's the best program we can have. Other countries, especially yung European countries, have a pool stretching from like 18 years old to 35 years old. Diba? Players like Luka Doncic, Ricky Rubio even played at 16 years old. We have players nung last World Cup who were 16 to 18 years old. We should have that also. Players like Andy Hamajo should start joining yung camps. I think that players like Mason Amos, players like all of those that are already eligible. Probably players like Balungay, players like Mike Phillips, maybe they can be replacement players since they're not eligible yet. But I think that we need to stretch the pool first to 25 people and yung profile ng teams that we're going up against. I think that yun yung yun yung main difference between FIBA before to FIBA now. We have windows that we have only 1 or 2 games. It's not one whole tournament and one whole lineup like before. So maybe if we have a pool of 20 to 25 players, then we can mix and match the best type of players versus the matchups, the other countries. So that we have to take advantage of everything that's happening right now. Other countries have already made the right steps in the right direction to tailor fit yung construction ng team nila to the new FIBA system. I think that's something that we have to work on. And I think yung biggest reaction ko rin similar to Gab, where is the shooting? Diba? We have a lot of point guards who are extremely good shooters. We have a lot of guards who are also I have a few snubs. Even si Kiefer Ravena, I thought should have made it based on his performance on FIBA World. Si Bobby Ray Parks should also have been considered for a position. But there are a ton of players, especially the players playing in Japan who should have been considered part of the pool. Not just part of the team, but even just the pool, di ba? Kasi sayang naman if they're already here vacationing, taking advantage of the break, then maybe we can get those players as practice players also for the team. Generally, those are my reactions but generally it's really about them naming only 12 to the pool for the next 4 years. I don't think that's gonna work. Sam?
I think you guys made a good point on the point guards and the shooters. So that's something na napag-usapan na natin, I think, in a previous episode reacting to talking about Gilas and the FIBA World Cup. So yun yung medyo wala pa rin eh. I think we named the other point guards from before din, sina SJ Balangel, RJ Abarrientos, possibly joining the team, no, which they've played for Gilas before. So I think those are good points. Yung dun sa pool, Maui. So pinanood ko yung may video, I forget what the video was about, pero it was a Gilas video ni Buckets. Kilala mo yun, Maui, diba? I think you follow him on Twitter. Si Eyes something. Eyes Flow on Twitter. Eyes Flow on Twitter, I think. So I was watching yung video ni Buckets and may nakita akong nag-comment similar to what you were saying, Maui. So he was suggesting yung commenter ni Buckets is baka dapat merong Team B. Parang Team B na maybe that's like a pool of players that you can get from in case yung Team A mo. Let's say, ito talaga gusto ni Coach Tim Cone, di ba? Let's say, dito siya bilib sa 12 players na to. But at least have like a Team B na will also train together, figure out the system of Coach Tim Cone. Maybe dito mo ilalagay yung mga young players, Maui, like parang cadets, like sina Amos, whoever. So that they can still learn Coach Tim Cone's system and be ready just in case. Kasi to your point, if super tight no lineup natin, 1 or 2 injuries will significantly hurt yung team, no? So yun yung definitely con to it. But sa akin, I also sort of see yung gusto gawin ni Coach Tim Cone dito, which I assume is really committing to like 12 players na eto na talaga to. For the next 4 years, eto na to. We will ingrain the system in all of them. They will be familiar with each other. They can't expect anybody else to fill in for someone else. Kayo na yon. So you have to get to know each other and figure out the system, know each other's tendencies. Talagang commit to like this 12 na it's a big risk. Yun yung, I think, sinasabi natin na con, di ba? Like, I guess for Coach Tim Cone, bawal na umatras. If you commit to this, like, if you're invited and you're only one, kunyari, if you're a player like, ikaw si Carl Tamayo, 12 players lang kayong inimbita ni Coach Tim Cone. Yung yes mo, if you commit to this, it's a lot heftier than saying yes if, let's say, 40 or let's say 30. 30 kayong in-invite ni Coach Tim Cone. Oh, gusto mo ba sumali sa Gilas Pool 30, the top 30 players of the Philippines yon? Sige, sasali ako. But when it comes time to the competition, masakit balikat ko or whatever, it's kind of easy to back out because there are 30 people in the pool, di ba? Dito, mahiya ka naman sa balat mo kung medyo masakit ng onti yung likod mo tapos back out ka sa 2 games nyo, 12 lang kayo, di ba? So, baka it also sort of like makes people really think about it. And to be fair, like when I read about it, parang sinabi naman ni Coach Tim, if you say no, okay lang. We have people listed na we will choose. But supposedly, ito talaga yung top 12 that he picked. Supposedly, and they all said no. They all said yes. I think si CJ Perez said, hindi ka makakahindi kay Coach Tim Cone. So, baka yun yung, I'm trying to look at it from like Coach Tim's perspective, no? Kasi ako din, na-shock ako eh. Parang, 12-man roster, kahit nga sa USA, may pool eh, di ba? Like, yung USA, maintindihan ko pa kung sabihin na, 12 lang padala natin, kaya natin yan. Padala natin sina LeBron, sina AD, sina Steph Curry. Pero, tayo, can we really afford to just pick 12 people for the next 4 years, di ba? Yeah. Nakakatakot talaga. But I'm trying to see it from Coach Tim's perspective. Yung level of commitment that is required from these players, mas mataas. Yun lang yung isa kong, I'm trying to look at the positive side. But sorry, Maui, go ahead.
Yeah. Tsaka yung sabi ni Gab, I think it's crazy that they're naming a 12-man pool when most of these players are probably gonna be mid-30s when it's all said and done, di ba? You don't know if Justin Brownlee's peak is gonna extend until that he's 39, he's 35. Remember, he hasn't played basketball also since nung Asian Games because of that doping issue. You don't know if Scotty Thompson will get better with age. He's already 30. Si Newsom will be 37 when it's all said and done. And si Gab mentioned si Fajardo, I think it's 38, 39. Maawan sila kay Japet kung ginawa pa na lang si Japet part of the pool. He'll be 40 plus when it's all said and done. So that's one of the reasons why, di ba, yung age, not just yung, I mean, players get more injured more frequently. Players have a harder time to recover from injuries when they're older. That's a fact of life for basketball. Kaya yung prime years that we've been harping about all this past 2 years on our podcast is very important for a basketball player. So hopefully I'm just hoping that they extend the pool. I think that's the next direction, right? The step that we need to take.
Yeah. So yung sa age in particular, parang 5 players no? So 5 out of the 12 yung medyo alanganin. So I listed them down kasi. Obviously, ang oldest, Justin Brownlee, 36. So 4 years from now, 30s, these are their ages this year, ha? So baka hindi pa nag-birthday yung iba. But Brownlee's 36, so he'll be 40. Junmar will be 39. Chris Newsom will be 38. CJ Perez will be 35. Scotty Thompson will also be 35. So yung 5 players na yun yung medyo questionable. And dun sa 5
not everyone's LeBron James, Tim Cone.
So specifically dun sa 5 na yun, ang talagang kakabahan ka is Scotty.
Klay Thompson lang, di ba? You see Klay Thompson declining on his year 34, 35 season right now. That's an elite shooter. The best in the world. Probably
and defender. Elite shooter and defender. So dun pa lang kinakabahan ka na because Junmar, Justin Brownlee, Scotty, you expect these guys to play a lot. And sila yung sobrang tatanda.
Yeah.
Sorry,
actually, Sam, to your point, I think yung biggest risk that we're taking is, despite me, I love Brownlee. I think si Gab also loves Brownlee. We love Brownlee. I think the biggest risk we're taking is really Brownlee. Di ba? He's gonna be close to 40 or 40 when it's all said and done. 40. Sana, ang ano ko is sana we have a replacement whenever that time comes. I mean, if Brownlee can play spectacularly till he's 42, 41, then maybe we can have him. But maybe I am hoping that we have a backup plan. I don't know if Ange Kwame is still part of the plan. There are been clamors na si Boatwright from SMB should be a potential player to be considered for naturalization. Even si Okoe from NU, di ba, is being considered daw. But I think that's one of the main risks that we're taking. What if Brownlee gets injured? Who's going to be our naturalized player? Si Clarkson won't be available anytime, di ba? Si Kwame is now playing also sa France ba? I think EuroLeague Division 2. So we have to have that player to lean on if ever Brownlee gets injured, knock on wood.
Yeah, actually, that was my next question. So, Gab, anyone you want to add? Kasi si Brown, tama ka, Maui. Brownlee is the highest risk. And Brownlee is sort of the one that if ma-injured, you have to replace with not just maybe he will replace them with a Pinoy. But sayang, di ba? You better if you have like an import also, naturalized player that's waiting in the wing. So, maganda yung mga na-list mo. Top of mind, obviously, right now is Ange Kwame. He's already naturalized. He's already played for Gilas. Anyone else that you want to add, Gab, before we move on? Before we
add na
naturalized.
Import?
Yeah.
Na naturalized? None as of now, man. Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard.
Another old guy.
Old head.
Bawal na yun. We're not like Bahamas that we get exceptions.
Yeah. He already played for Team U, but
played for the US.
Not right now. Actually, we already have Ange Kwame right there, right here. I mean, I don't know why he wasn't considered, but yeah, Tim Cone loves Justin Brownlee, and I think he's proven himself to be an excellent player for Gilas Pilipinas and for Tim Cone. But yun nga, man, he's old already. I know he can still ball, but he's old.
Okay. Taking a step back, let's talk about the overall program. Good things, bad things that you see, pero ang main question ko is, overall, is this an improvement over the previous program? Despite yung flaws niya that you pointed out, yung 12-man roster, is this an improvement over the previous program, or at the very least, a step in the right direction, something you're more excited about? Why or why not? Let's start with you, Gab. Let's end it with this.
Well, I love that it's 4 years, not just 2 months or 2 weeks of a plan. So that's a step in the right direction. My concern is mainly with roster construction. The Tim Cone and the SBP management have an idea how to form a roster for international play. International play, you need, bro. SBP, you watch the World Cup right here in the Philippines. I think you know what is required to compete at an international level in the World Cup and in the Olympics. Shooting, and you need young legs. As much as veterans can get you there, you need young legs who can run up and down the floor. You can't slow the game down. I think you can't do isolations and Tim Cone did whenever they're in a pinch. He does go a lot to Justin Brownlee. Just saying. So I do hope that we don't do much of that, the isolation stuff. But yeah, there are some. If it's an improvement over the last iteration of Gilas, yes, I think. If it's a 4-year plan, it's a well-known coach. Hopefully it's a system that's more suited for international play. I mean, ako na yung naisip ko lang talaga nung nakita ko tong Gilas pool is what you shooting and the success of the 2013 Chot Reyes team that went to the World Cup. It was dribble drive, yes, but it was they surrounded Jason Castro with a bunch of shooters. Diba? Sila Larry Fonacier, Gary David, Jeff Chan, Ranidel De Ocampo, Jimmy Alapag. That team was full of shooting. Just look at the historic win against Korea.
And they have solid point guards. And they had
solid point guards. Jimmy Alapag, Jason Castro, Tenorio, diba?
Pure point guards. I think yun yung
pure point guards. So, well, I do like that they have a 4-year plan. I am worried about how they view constructing a roster of 12 guys that can complement each other's play. No? But from right now, from the 12 guys they listed, parang skeptical pa rin ako eh. I do hope they improve in the next window. Hopefully it's not the same 12 guys. Man, they're gonna run them to the ground. But yeah, I hope it improves, man. I hope there's more youth injected here. A lot more thinking that goes through how to select players, and not just players from Barangay Ginebra or from San Miguel, diba? So there's hope, but I'm skeptical. Maui.
Yeah, I think generally same comments with Gab with regards to what he mentioned last. There's hope, but I'm very skeptical. We know that the Gilas program can have a program. I mean, before it was 23 for the World Cup, but it didn't happen. Nothing materialized. So we don't know if this 4-year program will really be a 4-year program. I hope it will be. I hope that the people will trust Tim Cone's vision. The problem with Coach Chot is, kasi before, is he lost the trust and respect of the people. I think that's one of the main reasons. He couldn't do anything good, diba? Even if we were winning, he was getting criticized. He just really outlived yung life niya sa Gilas. He overstayed. I hope that the fans will be different this time around. I hope that the FBP will give Coach Tim a period to really adjust. He will be at the top of the helm for the first time, I think, since the late 90s, barring yung win nila during the Asian Games. I think that's one of the main reasons why Coach Tim was also skeptical to get the job in the first place. Yung level of scrutiny and pressure of of really handling the national team in the Philippines is crazy. That's why Coach Chot, despite everything, I'm still thankful that despite everything that has happened, Coach Chot has decided to not look at the outside noise maybe for a while and continue to coaching, di ba? Kasi grabe yung skepticism, grabe yung criticism na nakukuha ng
pressure
coach.
Din,
Pressure. But yeah, I think yung concerns ko is very connected to Gab. My first concern is, will this be a 4-year program? My second concern is, can we not have just a 4-year program? Maybe we have a 10 or 15-year program. We have a lot of scouting pages just in Instagram. We have a lot of prospects coming to the UAAP na Phil-Ams who are still not eligible for Gilas, di ba? We have Mike Phillips and Kai Balungay, two very promising big men who are not eligible to play for the national team. If we have a plan that's probably longer than 4 years, then maybe we can improve our scouting. Maybe we can make sure that yung prospects get passports earlier, and we can have a better transition from program to program, not just Coach Tim's 4-year program. But I'm skeptical about that, especially since he need mostly old guns sa lineup niya, and it's only a 4-year program. But I'm hopeful that when the time comes that Coach Tim starts to perform, when his team starts to perform, then maybe he gets more leeway, maybe he gets more control. I'm just happy that we're finally moving on. Thank you to Coach Chot Reyes for coaching the team for the past few decades, but goodbye. We have to move on. We have to improve. We have to try something different because it hasn't been working the past 5 to 10 years. So maybe all we can do right now is trust and watch. Everyone has to watch the games, yung upcoming Gilas games, and support them. Sam.
And we'll be here commenting on them.
So, tama. So, let's end it there. I think yung keyword doon is we're hopeful, pero syempre we're being realistic din. Rome wasn't built in a day, diba? So hopefully, I think aligned naman tayong tatlo. This is a step in the right direction. But this is just one small step. We hope na tuloy-tuloy siya, that 4-year program. By the way, just to mention, I think the reason why it's a 4-year program is because the target is to make it to the LA Olympics, I think. So, cash a 4-year program because in 4 years, it will be the LA Olympics. So, that's the main goal or main objective right now. At least the objective or the goal of this team is very clear. Hopefully, this time we stick to this kasi we've heard this before, diba? There was a program before. Did we stick to it? Not necessarily, not really. So what we're hoping for is we get to stick to this program this time. We're hopeful with Coach Tim Con. He is a well-respected coach, and as mentioned by Maui, coaching the Gilas team is not an easy task. The Philippines is a basketball crazy world, so there are high expectations for the Gilas coach and the Gilas team. So we are hopeful, but kung hindi naman skeptical, but we're also trying to be realistic, diba? This is not gonna happen in an instant. But sabi nga ni Gab, we will be watching the upcoming games. So I think it's against Hong Kong and Chinese Taipei. So we should be able to handle it, and it would be a good, test for this new Gilas team. So we will be watching and we will be reacting after those games. So stay tuned for that. If you have any additional comments, reactions to the Gilas program, comment them down below. We love reading your reactions, comments, and we always reply to them. So please comment down below. If you haven't yet, please like this video so we get more views, and subscribe to support the channel. We'll see you again next time. See you.